noite, Vitor.
Good evening, Vitor.
Boa noite. Oi. Vitor, boa noite. Primeiro, o que saiu de errado?
First of all, what went wrong in the fight?
Não esperava.
What didn't you expect?
Tudo errado, né?
Everything went wrong.
Foi a noite dele, eu acho que
It was his night.
desde o primeiro knockdown, quando
Since the
ele
first knockdown when I got back up,
não estava muito acordado ainda.
I wasn't too awake yet,
Consegui trabalhar
so I wasn't able to work the right techniques.
com muito afoito, querendo fazer muita coisa.
I was very anxious trying to do a lot in the first round.
Paciência,
I didn't have the patience,
e custou caro.
and it cost me.
Você teve uma performance melhor do que as últimas duas lutas, né?
You had a better performance than in the past two fights, in my opinion.
Soltando chutes rodados, mais rápido que nas últimas
You were
lutas.
quicker,
Você
you
se
kicked
sentiu
more.
melhor do que
Did you feel better than in the last fights?
Estava muito bem preparado.
I was very well prepared.
A gente treinou bastante.
I trained a lot with my team.
Eu não consegui, eu estava bem
It's frustrating because I was doing well until a certain point.
confiante que eu ia
I was confident that I was going to knock him out,
tudo aconteceu ao contrário.
and everything went happen in reverse.
É isso aí, a gente tem
But
que
that's
se
it.
reinventar
We have to reinvent ourselves,
e
and
não vai ser a
it won't be the first, it won't be the last.
Quer dizer, espero que seja a última, né? Porque
I mean, I hope it is
eu queria fazer a minha última luta.
the last, because in July I want to do my last fight on my contract.
Chegou a minha hora de
I think it's my time
encerrar o meu
to
capítulo
finish
nessa
my chapter in this
como lutador profissional.
as a professional fighter.
Acho que meu corpo já
I think that my body's not the same to train, a lot of pain.
São mais de 14 cirurgias que eu tenho.
It's over 14 surgeries that I've done.
Dei tudo,
I think
deixei
I've
tudo no
given,
octagon.
I've left everything inside the octagon. It wasn't in the best way.
Ter dado a vitória pros
I'm sad to not give this win to my fans here in Brazil, but it's part of it. The sport is like this, and
noite do Kelvin.
it was Kelvin's night. He shined.
do contrato, mas só para esclarecer.
You said it's the last fight on your contract, but it'd be the last fight of your career?
A não
It
ser
would
que
be.
eles criam essa organização das lendas aí,
Or if they create a organization just for the legends, then
pouco mais.
then I can extend it a little bit more. But
Fazer treinamento para luta de 5 rounds.
to train for 5-round fight is very sacrificing for my body. I was very well physically,
Mas ele me conectou com
but he connected a few good shots. I was able to recover the first time,
na segunda ele me
but in the second time he landed flush and it was his night.
Quanto dói deixar
How much does it hurt to leave the arena tonight with your third defeat in a row? Something you didn't expect. Does that bother you?
treinar mais forte
Does that give you more motivation to train harder
e sair
and to get on the fight card in Rio?
com chave de ouro?
To be able to finish your career with a
dor é dor, né?
pain is pain.
Triste demais porque a gente
I'm very upset because we put a lot into this training, a lot of time. We're doing well. My team and I were certain that we would leave with a victory, but that's life. Right now I'm focused on my businesses.
uma rede de academias, de franquias.
I'm opening a franchise of
Minha segunda missão,
a chain of gyms.
minha segunda jornada é
My
poder ajudar a
my
humanidade.
second mission is to be able to help humanity, for people to reinvent themselves.
Medo de arriscar.
I see people with a lot of fear about taking risks,
Mas a parte
not only physically but emotionally. People are very fearful of trying,
eu não vejo,
and I don't see
porque
I don't see why not try.
e eu queria muito poder encerrar
And I really wanted to be able to finish my career
como atleta profissional.
as a professional athlete.
De carreira desde meus
This year marks 20 years of my career since I won the belt,
tinha certeza que eu ia sair com a vitória.
and I was sure I was going to leave with a victory tonight, but it wasn't tonight, and
Voltar pra casa,
that's it. I'll go back home,
família, assim,
enjoy my family, reinvent myself, sit down with my trainers, and
tem esperando
see what lies ahead for me.
Vitor, aqui ó, direita. Boa noite. Essa luta ela foi vendida
This fight was
como
sold
uma
as
experiência contra a juventude.
the
Você acha que
experience
isso foi
as the
preponderante
youth.
no
Do you think that
resultado final?
that
E
showed in the
outra
results?
pergunta,
And
se você,
another
na sua última
question,
luta,
do you think that in your
poderia,
last fight,
ser uma revanche,
do you think
contra o
your last
Anderson
fight could be
Silva,
a rematch
que foi uma
against
das
Anderson
lutas
Silva,
épicas, né, que
was
aconteceu,
one of the
e
most
se
epic
você
fights?
faz coro para isso que aconteceu?
Do you want that to happen?
Bom, eu acho que a experiência
Well, I think that
acho que eu fui inexperiente, né? Fiz muita
I
coisa
was
no
inexperienced. I did a lot of things in the first round.
Tava com sede de vitória,
I was hungry for the win,
nada, até na hora que eu
for all or nothing.
knockdown que eu levei.
when I got back up from the first knockdown, I wasn't patient.
Eu acho que me custou a falta
I
de
think it
paciência
cost me,
no combate.
the lack of patience cost me the fight.
Ganhar a luta,
I wanted to win the fight,
e ela caiu pro lado do Kelvin.
and it ended up falling in Kelvin's court.
Minha última luta do contrato,
And my last fight in my
tinha vontade
contract,
de lutar no Rio com um brasileiro, não.
I don't want to fight in Rio against a Brazilian.
Sempre com um brasileiro.
I like to fight against someone who's not a Brazilian.
Queria muito poder
I'd really like to be able to finish my
minha carreira como
my career as a
profissional.
professional.
E, enfim, acho que é merecedor isso.
I think I deserve that.
Ver o MMA onde ele chegou,
To see where MMA has
essa
gotten.
luta de hoje passando na
Like,
TV Globo,
Tonight's fight on TV Globo in Brazil, it's very sad to not be able to give your people a win, for your family, your trainers.
saiu a cabeça erguida que eu fui lá.
But I leave with my head up high, and I did my best.
Pensei que essa noite foi do
I
Kelvin.
have to recognize that tonight was Kelvin's night.
Vitor, o quanto
Vitor, how
o
much
resultado da luta de hoje
did the result of
influenciou
tonight's
nessa
fight influence
decisão
your
de
decision
que a sua próxima luta será a última? Já
that
era
your
algo
last
decidido
that your
ou
next
caso
fight would be your
você
last? Is that something
seria
you've already decided
considerar,
that,
estender a carreira?
or would you consider
Já era algo decidido,
extending your
já
career?
tinha anunciado.
It was something that I already decided. I just hadn't announced it.
Eu acho que já falo de novo, reitero a
I
ideia
say
de
again,
que
I
desde
reiterate
criança,
that
a categoria das lendas,
I think
só
that
a gente ia conseguir
it'd be
criar
great to have a division for the legends.
mais conteúdo para vocês.
We'd be able to give you guys a lot more content for the
A
fans,
gente ia conseguir trazer muitas pessoas
but we'd be able to bring in a lot of people that are in retirement
nova, com
with new rules,
luva nova,
with new size gloves,
o tempo reduzido,
with a reduced amount of time,
maior.
longer rest period between rounds.
Os fãs, vocês
I think that the fans and you as the media
presenciar algo muito
could see something that would be very gratifying. We miss seeing certain athletes competing, but
com essa 5 rounds,
but
luta
5
de cinturão,
rounds and fighting for the belt and this youth coming up, it's not as easy for us to train. Training is what's sacrificing. I see that in my body. From my era, there's no one left. I know how hard that can be, but my team helped me a lot, and it's not easy. Training is very tiring.
Eu tenho certeza se essa liga dentro do UFC,
I'm sure that if this league was created in the UFC, it would be something that would revolutionize the MMA market.
Com isso eu conseguiria
With that, I would be able to
estender pouquinho, vocês poderiam ver
extend. You'd be able to see a little bit more of Vitor
Vitor,
Belfort.
falando sobre essa ideia de lutar no Rio.
And talking about the idea of
Você
fighting in
comentou,
Rio, like you
o
said,
corpo não responde mais da mesma forma,
your body's not
você sente
responding
dor,
as
já
it
passou
did
por
before. You
muitas
feel a
cirurgias.
lot of pain. You've
Mas
had a
pra
lot of
essa luta
surgeries.
acontecer no Rio,
But
é
for
daqui
that
a
fight
3
to
meses,
happen,
né?
it's in
Você
3
estaria
months.
disposto, depois
Would
de
you
uma
be
luta
willing,
dessa, depois de um nocaute,
after this fight, after
talvez,
being knocked out,
fazer sacrifício
to
final
sacrifice
pra poder fazer
one
essa
last
luta?
time
Só tô querendo
to be
entender o
able to?
tamanho da sua ambição de fazer esse
I'm
esforço.
trying to understand how much you desire to fight. Yeah, without sacrifice, there's no glory.
sair daqui com um sentimento de que deixei escorregar, sabe?
I get out of here and feeling like I let this victory slip. I think I was too reckless, and I paid for it.
Kelvin
It's part of it.
foi o campeão, reconheço.
Kelvin was the winner, and I recognize that.
Acho que eu fui muito afoito para
But I think I was too reckless and wanted to go in there and knock him out.
o resultado foi o inverso.
And
Eu acho que seria
the result was
second
opposite of what I wanted. And
agora esforço
it would be a second win, but I would work hard to be able to fight on my hometown, and especially in my last fight as a professional.
Minha pergunta era justamente em cima daquele que você acabou de dar uma discorrida já
My question
sobre
was
essa
about
categoria nova,
what you kind of just said about that new division,
desses atletas que já
not masters. It would be the
lendas,
legends.
Isso, mais bonito mesmo, com certeza. Então, você já deu uma discorrida do que seria.
You already talked a little bit about how it would be,
Primeiro
but
me pergunta assim,
my
esse
first
pensamento
question
é
is,
só teu?
is that
Você
something
tem essa
that
ideia ou
you're
você
just
tem
thinking
outros
about, or
companheiros,
is there other
lutadores
people that
também,
other
que estão nessa
fighters
faixa,
that
lendas,
are
que
also legends
pensam
that
igual a você?
think just like you? I'm sure that I represent them.
Tenho certeza se essa categoria tivesse,
I know that if we had this
vários
division,
lutadores vieram falar comigo, nossa, que ideia
as many fighters came up to me and said, "What a great idea!" And
trabalho extra.
you know, when you
Seria uma coisa
retire, you'd have an extra job, you'd have work.
as regras, eu já
I have the whole idea of.
Então você já tem
I've written
um
everything
pré-projeto
down,
pronto pra isso.
so you have the whole project.
posso apresentar amanhã.
I have the project. I can show it to you tomorrow.
Essa categoria, eu acho que ela tá pronta.
I think this division's ready.
Vocês, repórteres,
You, as the
adoravam
media,
isso,
would love to
gostariam
see
de ver
that.
as
Wouldn't you
pessoas
like to see that?
retornando, fazendo
People coming
lutas,
back and
com uma regra que de repente
with
eu já
with
posso
rules
falar
that
só
maybe
três coisas que eu acho que ia
I can
ajudar
say
muito.
3 things that would really
Não
help.
valeria cotovelo, não
No
valeria
elbows,
joelhada.
no
O
knees.
tempo seria de 3 minutos.
The rounds will be 3 minutes long.
O tempo de solo seria 30 segundos.
Time on the ground will be
Então, a luta
30
seria
seconds,
mais
so
ação,
the fight will
vocês
have
teriam
more
muito
action.
mais- teria muito mais entretenimento.
You guys will be even more entertained.
O descanso seria de 1 minuto e meio, então venderia
The rest
mais,
time between rounds will be a minute and a half, so you can sell more advertisement space. So
mundial, acho
I
que
think around the world it would
é uma
sell.
coisa que tá faltando, sabe?
It's something
Dá pra ver
that's
que
missing. It's lacking.
Com isso a gente pode, com esses eventos, você pode massificar os
And with that,
atletas
you-
jovens, fazer os ídolos.
You can create new
E
idols,
a
the new
formação
guys
desse
coming up.
card seria baseado exatamente em quê?
And what would that be based on? On
Tempo,
time,
títulos,
on titles?
Poderia ter um título,
There could be a
poderia
title.
ter 3 categorias.
There could be 3 divisions, 3
Não
weight
precisa ser
classes.
igual, você pode fazer algo, não, 3 categorias.
You can do 3 weight
Médio,
divisions,
leve, pesado.
medium, light, and heavy.
É uma ideia.
So it's an idea.
Só tenho essa ideia porque eu tenho vontade.
I have that idea because
Só que
I want to continue fighting, but
conhecer também que chega uma
I have
hora
to
que
recognize that there comes a time when
lutar dessa maneira, o
to
treinamento
fight
é
this
muito-
way, the
muito
training
desgastante, né?
is very tiring for
20 anos já tá
for someone
na
who's
idade
been
mais avançada,
fighting
então
for
é-
20 years and is a
eu
little bit
acho
older.
que não é fácil. A gente tem
I
que
don't
saber
think
a
it's
hora
not
de-
easy.
tudo tem um início, meio e fim.
You know, everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. My body's not the same,
Tenho vontade de competir, eu gosto.
but I like competing. I want to compete. Let's see.
E essa nova trajetória sua, nós podemos levar
And this
numa
new
área
journey.
de coach, trabalhar ali com os atletas que estão começando.
What
que
would you
estão
do? Would you be a
em
coach?
ascensão.
Are you going to
Eu
work
gosto
with
muito de poder ajudar os
up and coming
atletas,
guys?
isso eu tenho
I really
muito
like helping
carinho,
athletes.
tremendo no esporte.
I have a lot of affection for this sport. I like helping people. I'm opening a chain of gyms, and I want to help people take care of their physical part and also the emotional. I think it's a new concept that I'm creating. That people are going to have a 1 hour training sessions. They're going to burn 1,000 calories. We're opening this gym now in the US. And I want to give back. I want to give back to people and everyone that's always supported me and be able to help people have a quality of life. I think to rewrite history is something that we all should do, but many of us, we just watch. We just watch this theater of life, and we're afraid of taking a new path, letting things behind and controlling our lives, and we have to take control of our lives and decide what we want to do.
Parabéns, Vitor.
Congratulations, thank you.
Falei com você em janeiro e você disse
We
que na
spoke
época
in
você teve
January,
duas derrotas, você disse que
and
não
you
considerava
were
a sua
coming
fase
off 2
como
losses,
ruim,
and
ainda boa.
you didn't consider
Que era
that
o
this
seu
was such
pensamento na
a
época,
bad
mas
phase you're
hoje,
going
depois
through,
dessa
but
derrota, qual o seu
after
pensamento
this
hoje
defeat,
sobre a
what do
sua
you
carreira,
think?
sobre a
What do you
sua
think of your
fase?
career in this phase you're
O
going through?
pensamento é positivo.
I'm positive.
Sai de hoje cabeça erguida,
I leave here with my held up high.
dei meu melhor.
I went in there and I gave my
Não foi da
best.
maneira que eu queria.
It wasn't how I wanted.
Kelvin brilhou hoje à noite,
Kelvin shined tonight.
mas é motivo de orgulho.
But it's a matter of pride and everything that I've done for this sport and everything that I've achieved.
E o homem não pode ser julgado.
And man can't be judged by their defeats.
Julgado pelo todo.
You need to be judged for everything.
Você perde também.
I think the way that you lose and the way that you fight.
Eu saio de hoje aqui com a cabeça erguida e que eu fui lá.
I leave here with my held up high. I know I went in there and fought as a warrior, but
Foi melhor. Eu não acreditava.
he was better.
Tava recebendo
I couldn't
uns
believe
golpes
it.
desse, gente, não é-
When the shots were landing, I couldn't believe it. I thought, man, this is not real. This is not happening. But that's life.
Superar as nossas dificuldades.
We have to learn to overcome our difficulties and
As minhas
and
derrotas
write our
foram pra
history.
grandes campeões.
My losses were to great
Essa galera
champions.
jovem é dura
These
mesmo.
new guys are really tough,
Eles tiveram uma noite melhor e eu
and they had a
tenho
better
esse
night, and I have to
confiança
recognize
que
that as an athlete,
eles merecem.
that they deserve it.
Você vem falando ultimamente em
You've been saying that
trabalhar com o UFC, ajudar o esporte.
you
a
want to work with the
crescer.
UFC
Esse é
and help the
realmente seu
sport
plano
grow.
depois de
Is that really your
aposentar?
plan after you retire?
É, com certeza. É,
Definitely.
Sempre quis poder ajudar.
I always
esse
wanted
esporte,
to be able to help the
agradeço
sport,
muito
this
ao-
organization.
ao Frank, ao Lorenzo e ao Dana por
I have to
criar
thank Frank, Lorenzo, and Dana
isso, e
for creating and investing in the UFC, and today IMG, that they believe in the sport, they bought it, and it's making it grow here in Brazil. TV Globo, I really want to be able to help, especially in this division with the legends. If that's created, it would be something that's very interesting, that could bring a lot. And we'll be able to see our idols, the icons, fighting again. And we'll be able to let athletes continue.
Vitor, eu queria que você falasse alguns nomes.
I wanted you to talk about the names a few names that you'd like to face in this last fight. Right off the top of my head, there's not anyone in specific. I just don't want it to be against a Brazilian here in Brazil. No name, not even a foreigner. No, not off the top of my head. We have to sit with the UFC and see which opponent would make an interesting fight. I never refused any fights. I always fought the toughest guys in the division. I don't pick fights. But in this last fight, I wanted to have a special fight for my fans. Let's see. We'll see if that's possible. What's important is to be able to go back home right now and hug my family and relax a little bit. It was tough. I dedicated myself, and unfortunately, it wasn't my night. Thank you, Vitor. Thank you, everyone. All the best.